Welcome to Kickin' with the Rickens, redefining retirement. Gerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost want to help you retire with purpose and live with joy. Find more information, including how to reach the team, in today's show notes. Now, Kickin' with the Rickens, powered by Ricken Financial.
Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for listening to Kick In with the Rickens podcast. We are here with retirement planner Heidi Ricken Provost and licensed insurance professional Gerry Ricken. My name is Mark Owens. We invite you to get more at rickenfinancial.com. You can get all the information here in the show notes. Thanks again for subscribing. Now, let's get to the show. It's so weird. We were talking off the air that we're almost out of time for the summer, and I feel like there's so many things that I still need to get to.
There are so many things that I need to get to this summer, and summer is approaching its end. And one of the things I realized, you know what I realized, Heidi?
What is that?
I have not been to Ted Drew's yet this summer.
I haven't either, actually. I haven't been to Ted Drew's since I got my Christmas tree.
That's a crying shame. Well, yeah. And by the way, they've been doing Christmas trees since 1952, I think. So,
all right. So for somebody who may be new to St. Louis, Ted Drews?
Ted Drew's.
Ted Drew's been around since 1929.
Institution. It is an institution.
Yes. Get your concrete at Ted Drew's.
And we're not talking about like the concrete you pour on the ground and everything. It's frozen custard.
Oh.
And it's world renowned.
And you can put almost any
delicious.
kind of flavor in there. And they have all kinds of different flavors and all kinds of different iterations of that.
Honestly, the hardest thing for me to do at Ted Drew's is I am a creature of habit in a lot of different ways. But when it comes to Ted Drew's, I am not a creature of habit. I get something different every single time. And it takes me forever to figure out what I want. I'll Google their menu and read it for like an hour on the way and be like, okay, what am I trying this time?
See, and I'm a creature of habit.
Same
banana
thing.
Chip.
Yeah.
Banana
every time.
Chip.
So
amazing. Every time.
Is it one of those where it's base priced, or is it by the pound, or they weigh it at the end and you pay by how many ounces?
There's different sizes of cups. And the classic thing that is their signature is before they hand it to you, they flip it upside down, and if anything drips, they make it over.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That is dedication.
I feel so awful. Mark, when you came to town, I feel awful. We didn't take you to Ted Drew's. Darn.
Okay.
We brought you to the ball game, to Ballpark Village, to the brewery, to Blue City Deli, all of these staples, and we failed miserably. We didn't take you it's time for you to come back and visit us in St. Louis again. It's time to head to Ted Drew's.
Twist that arm. I got to come hang out with you guys in the city. I did get to see the casino as well, so I checked a lot of things off the list. Okay, put that on the list of things to do. But, we were talking about our list, our end of summer list. Mm-hmm. And those are some of the conversations that you're having right now with the families you serve. Rickenfinancial.com to meet the team. 314-207-6211. What are these conversations like as we kind of get towards the back half of summer and towards the back half of the year? What am I talking about?
You know what's crazy? If you don't actually sit down and focus on something and plan for it, time gets away from us. And here we are, almost to September.
Yep.
I don't know how that happened. Honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to the end of summer for one reason. It has been so miserably hot and humid lately. Mm-hmm. August has been a real hot month. So I'm looking forward to the heat breaking a little bit. But if you wait till summer's over to do something, you're going to be waiting forever. So
yeah, it's when we were kids, it seemed like summer lasted forever. Now summer is a flash in the pan. Mm-hmm. And when we talk to our clients who are retired, they come in and say, and it's difficult to schedule them because they're so busy. Mm-hmm. And we love that because they have found their purpose in retirement. What are they going to spend their time doing? A lot of people have no problem spending their time doing lots of things they want to do, not things that they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
But simultaneously, when we talk to people who are still working, they don't prioritize putting together a plan sometimes. And they'll say, well, if you can't meet me after my hours, then I don't know how I'm going to make it work. If you take time off to go to the doctor or the dentist or all these other priorities, you should be doing that too to plan for your future. Is your future not important enough to take an hour out of work to plan for it?
Yeah, we're talking about 30 to 40 years of your future.
Exactly.
Your retirement years, the years that you should be enjoying life.
So if you wait till it's convenient, you're waiting way too long. Some people ask us all the time, like, when is the right point in time to plan? The answer is pretty simple. There's never a wrong time. The only time it's too late is when you're in the horizontal club and you're no longer with us.
Yeah, when you call Creek Sausers. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. When someone's coming to pick you up and go celebrate your life. But it's never too early to plan and it's never too late to plan. What you need to ensure is that you are open to the plan so that you're ready to hear ideas of what you can put together to ensure that you're going to be okay when it comes to your income needs in the future and how much money you want to spend on things and where you're invested. Is it matching your risk tolerance? If not, what kind of work needs to get done? There's so many layers to this. Do you have the right form of life insurance and long-term care? And how are you going to cover your health insurance? And what about estate and legacy planning? And then the big kicker, taxation. Where is that going to fall on all of that? If you're open to the ideas and you're ready to put together the plan, that's the point in time to reach out to us. If you're a DIYer who wants to do all of it yourself and you just want a second opinion on that, but then go back home and DIY it, you're not the right fit for us. But if you're open to discussing, here's what your goals are and coming up with a plan for how you're going to reach those goals, you're the perfect fit for us. And we'd love to hear from you at 314-207-6211. Let's sit down and begin the discussion.
When we think about a plan, a lot of people think that's an overwhelming venture to lead into a plan and develop a plan. We develop the plan.
Yeah.
Heidi and I developed the plan. Our team here develops the plan after we have a conversation. It's a very simple process to start. But to start, you just need to give us a call at 314-207-6211 so we can have that discussion and just say, okay, where are you? Where do you want to be? What have you saved? What's your retirement look like if we turn on Social Security early? If we turn on Social Security late? Do you have a pension? What are your wants and needs from a perspective of what do you want to spend in retirement? A lot of people say, well, I'm not going to spend as much in retirement as I did when I was working. Well, why not? Mm-hmm. What's going to change? What's going to magically change the day you walk out with your box of goodies from your desk the last time? You don't have a gold watch anymore. You may not have a pension anymore. But what is going to change that day? Well, nothing really changes. In fact, we have a lot of retirees who spend more money in retirement, especially the first few years of retirement, because they want to do the things they've not been able to do before, like travel. Mm-hmm. We have a couple right now that are going to be gone for 42 days. They just left yesterday. Ooh. And they're enjoying their life. They just retired this year and they're going out of gangbusters because they've said, we haven't been able to travel because we've both been working for the last 40 years. So why don't we spend some of that money that we've been saving, that we've allocated for that, and go out and see the world? And that's what they're doing. And it's fabulous to see those kinds of things. But the point is, you need to just develop the plan or be open to us developing your plan. And the way you start is just with a conversation. It's very, very simple. We're going to ask you a lot of questions and you'll provide the answers. And then we'll provide the answers on what your plan looks like.
Retirement planning is actually pretty complex. If you sit here and you try to come up with your own, I appreciate the people that come in here, by the way, with spreadsheets who have tried to do it themselves, because I like that you're keyed in and you know how much you're spending and how you're invested and where you're invested. And when you're keyed in your finances, it makes life a little bit easier on us because we have a good starting point, at least. Mm-hmm. But if one simple, small decision is going to derail your retirement because you did something that's causing more taxation, and then you have to take more money out to pay more tax, and it becomes this snowball effect, you don't know what you don't know. And it's really hard to DIY this all on your own because chances are you haven't retired before.
And if you have, something probably went right.
Yeah. Exactly. So what we do all day long is we assist others in retiring. So rely on our experiences of helping others and learning from some of the mistakes of others too, and learning from growth opportunities and learning from all these tiny little nuances that can make a big difference to you when it comes to your retirement, because you deserve to know if you're going to be okay. And so many people, the fear of, am I going to be okay, keeps you from even picking up the phone and having the conversation.
Right.
You're worth the conversation. You're worth the plan. And if you're concerned that you're going to be okay, you know what? You probably are just fine. But you're not going to know until you sit down and you put together a holistic plan. It's not just about how much money you saved or what dollar amount you have for retirement. It's about what you want to do with your time. what's important to you? How do you want to spend your time? How much money are you going to spend? How much money do you spend right now? How are we going to forecast that for the future? Where are your assets saved? What tax status are they in? What investment strategies are they in? Is that matching your risk tolerance when it comes to your market risk and your tax risk? How are you covering your health insurance, your long-term care, your life insurance? What about your estate and legacy? Is everything going to go through probate? Is the IRS going to be your largest beneficiary if you don't make any changes? These are all questions we're going to be answering for you when we put together the Purpose Approach, your complimentary custom retirement plan that shows you how to navigate all the ins and outs of retirement so that you have a plan that you just get to relax and enjoy and spend the time doing what matters to you in retirement. So we would love to put together the Purpose Approach for you. If you've saved $500,000 or more for retirement, just give us a buzz at 314-207-6211, and we'll get started with your first meeting with us.
Heidi, Ricken, Provost, a couple of minutes ago, we were talking about the power of time and building the Purpose Approach. And you made the comment, you said, listen, if you DIY, then we're probably not a good fit for you. And that struck me because I'm thinking, well, Heidi, Gerry, wouldn't you be proud of me if I'm trying to customize a plan, if I'm trying to educate myself a little bit more about taxes, about income, about risk? So why do you say it might not be a good fit if you try the DIY method of a retirement plan?
Well, let me tell you, there's a complete difference between a DIYer and someone who's trying to educate themselves and ensure that they're doing the right thing. Someone who's trying to educate themselves and ensure that they're doing the right thing is open to ideas and doesn't necessarily think that what they're doing is the correct answer for everything, but wants to learn to ensure that what they're doing is the correct answer for everything. A DIYer is someone who manages their own funds and their own money and is not open to changing the idea of them being their own money manager.
Okay.
So if you are your own money manager and you're not open to other ideas of investments that could probably be better tools for you in retirement, then no, you're not the right fit for us, because what we do is we holistically plan. We think through things you probably have never thought through yourself and ask you more questions than you've probably been asked in a while to ensure that we have a plan for almost all the ins and outs and the what ifs that are going to hit you in retirement. And if you're DIYing that, you're not coming up with a whole holistic plan unless you know exactly what your taxation is going to be looked like and you forecasted that. And you don't even have access to all of the investing tools and strategies that we do if you DIY it. So you might be really keyed into it, but if you're not open for someone else coming in and assisting you in creating the plan and then implementing the plan, you're not the right fit for us. Because in order for our plans to work, we want to be your financial quarterback. We would like to be the people that implement the plans, that manage your funds, that ensure that you're going to do the tax strategy that makes the most sense for you in the future, and that your long-term care needs are going to be met, and that your health insurance needs are met, and that your income is enough to cover your expenses, and you're invested in the right means to match your risk tolerance, and you have the correct withdrawal order of your funds. And there's so many tiny little nuances. We want to ensure that that plan works. So if you want to put together a plan and see if the strategy is going to work for you, give us a buzz at 314-207-6211, and we'll start the Purpose Approach for you.
You know, when I think about DIYing, I'm a huge DIY guy when it comes to being a handyman around the house.
Right.
And, you know, I will go to Brandicke Hardware and talk to the guys and say, hey, here's my issue and what's it look like? And they'll say, oh, you should do this, or that may be beyond my pay grade. And I know my limitations. I know that if the air conditioner goes out, I'm not an HVAC guy. I know that if I have an electrical problem, I'm not an electrician.
Wait, can you say that one more time?
What? Did I'm not the right guy?
If you have an electrical problem, you're not the electrician. It's on air now. We all heard it.
Okay, so
he admitted it.
I may have played electrician that last weekend, actually, because when our switch went out in our refrigerator, I actually went
How'd that
to Brannick and got a new switch.
How'd that turn out? Did you get it fixed?
It turned out great. It was an $8.99 fix.
Oh.
That one I'm happy about. The one time that you accidentally may have hurt yourself a little bit. You know what? We know our limitations in the Ricken
Yes,
household.
I do now. But
It's a late in life lesson for one Gerry Ricken.
Yes.
We don't want any of you to be electrocuted.
But I do love seeing the fruits of my labor, you know, because a lot of times when you work, you don't really see the tangible results. But when you do something like building the back porch, you and I built our back porch, you see what happens and you see that it looks a lot better now, you know, than it did before. We're not saying you have to give up everything. We want you to understand things, but we want to be able to show you what we can do, how we can manage your money effectively and bring in different things that you haven't even discussed or heard about before that will be better suited for you in retirement than during your working years. And don't ever discount the fact that you need to know everything you can know about taxation.
Yeah.
Because taxes will be your biggest expense. That's difficult for me to say because it hurts me so much to say it. Your biggest expense in retirement.
If not planned for, and if you don't have a strategy for how you're going to dismantle the tax bomb that's going to explode on you in retirement, then they could be your largest expense in your entire retirement world.
Absolutely.
But all hope is not lost. If you have some time and you put together a strategy, you can actually reduce your taxation considerably with time, strategy, and input from professionals.
And we do that every day, every single day. People come in here after they've made the phone call at 314-207-6211. They come in, we meet with them the first time, we understand who they are, and then we gather a lot of information and we just show them. We show them where they are now, and a lot of them are surprised on how much they're going to pay in taxation during their lifetime. Then we show them with the proper tax strategies where they can be. And it's a significant difference of putting more money in their pocket and not in the IRS's pocket.
And a lot of people might ask, what is tax planning? What is tax strategy? It's going to involve a lot of things. And of course, it's going to involve the buzzword of Roth conversions, but that's not one size fits all. That's not the only thing you do to plan for your tax strategy when it comes to retirement. It can be as simple as this. If you're sitting here and you think, I'm going to touch this bucket of funds first and this one next and this one next. If you change that withdrawal order, you might save yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxes. If you change that withdrawal order and you're looking at what tax bucket you're pulling from, and you ensure every single thing that you have shouldn't be invested in the same strategy. Some people come and say this and they're like, oh, I'm in a 60-40 portfolio, 60% equities, 40% fixed incomes and bonds. Great. But you shouldn't have every single investment that you have invested in the same strategy. When you're in retirement, all of your investments need to look different than they did in your working years. You should be invested differently, matching your risk tolerance. And maybe that means deploying multiple different types of investment strategies across your different investments. You might have something that takes on less risk when it comes to your traditional IRAs, and something that takes on more risk when it comes to your Roth, and something that's kind of middle of the line when it comes to your non-qualified funds that don't fall into an IRA or a Roth IRA bucket. Everyone's going to have a different strategy that they deploy, but it could be as simple as this. Investing in the right means, in the right tax bucket with the correct withdrawal order, that could potentially save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxation in your lifetime. But if you're not a tax nerd like us and you don't sit here all day long and crunch numbers and see what the future could look like and what it does look like if you don't make changes, how on earth are you supposed to know if you're doing the right strategy to ensure that you're paying your fair share of taxes to the IRS, but nothing beyond that? So that's really kind of our sweet spot when it comes to retirement planning, because we want to ensure that there's not one tiny little decision you're making that derails everything from a tax perspective or from your financial strategy. So give us a buzz at 314-207-6211. We're going to dive into this together. And dare I say, I actually think we're going to make taxes a little bit of fun, because it's not a fun topic for most people, but for us, it can be. It's fun to save.
A phrase you hear very often. Taxes can be fun.
Well, we call ourselves tax nerds, but I call myself an accountant with a personality. I'm actually a recovering accountant with a personality, but I've met so many, and I've worked with a lot of people who are in the accounting field, and they're number crunchers, and they don't have the interpersonal skills that it takes to relate to people. And you're going to feel very comfortable when you come to see us, because we're going to just lay it all out and say, hey, where are you? Where do you want to be? And just make it comfortable for you, because you're very uncomfortable when you go to the doctor and you have to take your clothes off and the doctor needs to look at you. Well, this is an examination of a financial world. Okay. Some people
Please keep your clothes on.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. But this is a financial examination. But we want you just to share with us, and we'll make it very comfortable. There's no judgment here at all.
No.
We just want to see where you are, what you how makes you tick, how you're going to spend your time in retirement, all those things. And we will put that plan together for you. You don't have to do the work. You just need to bring us the information, because information is power.
Yeah.
And we will share information with you, because we believe you need to be educated to make the decisions in the end, whether or not this plan that we will work up for you is the right plan for you. It's all up to you. It just gets started with a conversation at 314-207-6211 to just peel back the curtain a little bit and say, hey, what can I do? What can you guys do for me? What can Ricken Financial do for me? We'll be able to answer those questions.
Let's continue this conversation about the power of taxes to and through, and having a tax strategy to and through retirement. And before we get to that, Gerry, you mentioned off the air that you are a member of a very, very exclusive club. I mean, some of the biggest party animals across the financial world get together. Some of the brightest minds. Y'all throw down. I'm trying to oversell this little tax club that you're a part of.
Obviously.
What is it? What are you a part of?
We are a member of the National Association of Tax Professionals. Now, that sounds boring as hell.
Man, you ought to see their conventions. They get the cops calling them every single time. They are up crunching numbers till all hours of the night.
But what we do is we receive daily updates from them and what's happening in the tax code, what could be applicable to our clientele. And that's what we look for, because we are those tax nerds that Heidi always talks about. But what we want to do is make sure that we have our thumb on the pulse of what's happening in the tax law, so that we can provide that information and that education to our clients and our prospective clients.
I mean, we obviously want every single person to be keyed in on tax law changes and everything, but sometimes you read the news and, okay, if you've ever listened to our show or gone back in the archives and listened to our podcast, Kickin' with the Rickens, you can find it anywhere that you stream a podcast. You have heard me harp on this, but if you go to the internet, it could be a good source for things, and it could be a horrible source for things. There is so much fear mongering when it comes to tax law changes out there. Sometimes it's impossible to find what actually happened. How is this actually going to affect me moving forward? So I feel like that's kind of where we bring our knowledge to you is, here's what the tax law change is, but more important, here's how it's going to affect you in the future. Here's what you can do so it doesn't affect you in a negative way. Here's what you can do so it affects you in a positive way, because it's so hard to decipher. Listen, we read tax law all the time. It is so hard to decipher what the tax code is saying and how to interpret it. So that's one of the things we want to help you figure out in your retirement is, how are the tax law changes going to affect you? Give us a buzz at 314-207-6211. And let's chat about it.
How it affects you is really the biggest thing out there. And one of the cases in point was One Big Beautiful Bill Act. People didn't really know what was in there. And the IRS didn't know how to interpret that. And they've figured it out, and they're now applying that to the taxpayers. So really what matters is what affects you, not what some talking head says on the internet, because I read those articles and it's humorous to me, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so full of misinformation. I can't even believe they were allowed to publish it. But then I figure out, I do a little research on the author, and they don't have a tax background. They just regurgitate what they've heard, and it may not necessarily be the best advice. In fact, it probably isn't the best advice. In fact, we don't want you to have blanket advice when it comes to your taxation or any other part of retirement planning. That's why we want to be the people that will answer your questions, do the research. If we don't have the answers, we're not going to blow smoke. We're going to find the answers for you. And we will do a deep dive and see what is, in our opinion, things that you should be looking at.
And here's the thing, there is a huge difference between being aware of what the tax law is and how the changes are being implemented, and how is taxation going to affect you moving forward? Because so often we are so hyper-focused as human beings on preparing our income tax return that shows us what we did last year. And we forget that the focus really should be on the future. And what we're doing today is it helping us save over the course of our lifetime? Because if we're only hyper-focused on saving for one tax year, I'm going to put it here so that I pay less in taxes this year. Are you doing yourself a service or a disservice if you put everything in pre-tax and you stick it aside in your traditional 401k at work right now? Well, you're probably going to do yourself a disservice when you actually see how much those accounts are going to grow and how much you're going to be forced to take out in the future in the form of your required minimum distributions that the IRS is in control of. Mm-hmm. We believe that you deserve a strategy that's going to show you how to pay your fair share of taxation, but nothing above that. And if you don't numbers crunch everything together and plan it out, it's really hard to know what the strategy should even look like. So that's part of what we do through our purpose approach is we put everything together in your plan and we look under that tax lens. What is it going to cost you if you continue on this course? Is there any way you can change course so that you're going to get ahead of the problem? What can you do to reduce taxation in the future or potentially eliminate taxation in the future? That's what we do all day, every day. So give us a buzz at 314-207-6211. Let's put your plan together and see how taxes are going to affect it.
You know, Heidi, you mentioned having things in deferred, which means in traditional IRA or 401k and not Roth. And when we are accumulating our money during our working years, we want to have growth. We want to have extraordinary growth so that we can retire in the future with a sum of money that will generate income for us, because income is the outcome that matters most in retirement, as we all know. But when you think about that, think about accumulating in a deferred environment, in an IRA or a traditional 401k. You want that to grow and grow and grow, and you have all that growth that you haven't paid tax on yet. Wouldn't it make sense, perhaps, to have all that growth and that huge growth in the Roth environment where you'll never pay tax in the future? So just thinking about simplistically, when you're in your accumulation years, putting things in an environment where it won't cost you more taxation in the future may be worth a look-see. And we will run those numbers for you and show you what that actually looks like. But it all starts with that conversation at 314-207-6211. Just set up an appointment with us. It can be as simple as a phone call. Hey, I want to talk to Heidi or Gerry about this. Or I want to come in and actually take advantage of the purpose approach.
And maybe you do have that large bucket set aside in your tax deferred. It's in pre-tax. You haven't paid tax on it yet. Maybe that's in an IRA. You can invest that a myriad of different ways. Here's the deal. We're not just talking taxes when it comes to retirement. We also need to talk about your investing strategy. When you're working, you are growth centered. You're focused on sticking everything aside for the future so it can grow as much as possible. But when you retire, you shouldn't be only growth focused. You should be invested completely different in your retirement years than you ever were in your working years.
Why is that?
Because you're in a different phase of life. You no longer have income coming in from work. Your income that's coming in is from potentially pensions and Social Security, but everything else is from what you saved for the future. Now you're living in the future. And in the distribution and preservation phase of your life now when you're in retirement, so everything should look completely different. You shouldn't be utilizing the same investments that you were in your working years in your retirement years. You should ensure that you're matching your risk tolerance, that you have the tax strategy on top of that and the withdrawal order and the correct order of those three things to ensure that your money lasts the test of time and is going to cover you. Because so many people's question when they come to meet us is, have I saved enough and am I going to be okay? The answer isn't really, have you saved enough? But if we want to know if you're going to be okay, we need to know how those savings are working for you. Are they investing in your personal risk tolerance when it comes to market risk? Or are you invested at higher risk, still centered on growth like you were during your working years? There are so many different strategies available to you in retirement that were not available to you in your working years. And there are so many different ways that you can ensure you're going to be okay over the course of time, but without a plan and a strategy of how you're going to implement that plan in your retirement years, you don't have anything. Some people say, oh, I have a 401k, I have an income annuity, I have this investment, and I have this cash position, so I know I'm going to be okay. How are those all working together? What is the plan behind all of that? If all you have are some assets or investments that someone has managed for you or sold to you, but there's no plan and strategy of how they're all going to work together, you may not be okay in retirement.
They may be working against each other.
Exactly. Yeah. And we've seen that too often, actually. So when you put it all together, we want to ensure that everything is working towards that purpose for you, that everything is working towards the goal of how much you want to spend in retirement and what you want to do with your time, and in the most tax efficient manner possible. But if you don't have a plan put in place, or that plan doesn't take into consideration taxation, then you may not have the right strategy to lead you to and through retirement. So that's what we'd love to do. We'd love to sit down and put together that purpose approach plan for you. Are you going to be okay? Do the numbers need to change in any direction for you? Do you need to implement a new strategy when it comes to taxation or investment risk or withdrawal order or long-term care, life insurance or healthcare, or your estate and legacy plan? We're going to answer those questions and so many more, but it has to begin with a phone call to 314-207-6211 so we can sit down and meet.
Talking a lot about strategies, building strategies to and through retirement in your retirement portfolio. But Heidi, Ricken, Provost, strategies, that's kind of a broad term because there's so many layers to the strategies that you build for adults looking to find their perfect place in retirement.
Mm-hmm. You know, one thing I think some people sit here and they wonder is, okay, I hear all the time I should be invested different in retirement than I was in my working years. Well, what could that potentially look like? And we as human beings do kind of have this fear of the unknown. And if you're not aware of some of these strategies, you might be afraid of them, or you might want some more information about what they actually look like. So let's talk about a couple strategies that could work very effectively for you in your retirement and break it down a little bit.
You know, one of the things that people may misunderstand or have a predisposed notion that this will never work for me because I've heard that they're not good or that's a bad strategy, all those things. We want you to be educated. And the only way you're going to get educated is just to be exposed to the information and understand and ask questions about that information when you are exposed to it. And one of the things I want to talk about is annuities. Annuities is like the 4-letter word in retirement planning for some people, and I don't understand that. Primarily,
well, for other people, it's better than sliced bread. So, you know.
Well, exactly. And, you know, one of the largest investment advisors out there, Fisher Investments, says, I hate annuities and you should too.
Right.
Primarily because those folks can't sell the kind of annuities that we offer. But there are all kinds of different annuities out there. And when they fit very, very well. And when they don't, they don't. So it isn't one size fits all. None of our plans are one size fits all. But when you think about annuities, one of our favorite annuities to prevent the erosion of your principal, one of the things we used is an indexed annuity. Well, an indexed annuity is really a stripped down version of an annuity. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles out there that people always think about when they think about annuities. Most people, when they think about annuities, they think about income, providing income for the rest of your life. These do not do that. They preserve your principal. So when the market goes down, you earn zero. But when the market goes up, you could earn maybe 8, 9, 10%, whatever the current market is for those investments. And they're set by the insurance companies. And I hearken back. We had a historic event happen last weekend in Wrigley Field, and the Cardinals brought up Josh Baez. In his first 3 at-bats, he hit, historically, 3 home runs in Wrigley Field. In his 4th at-bat, he made it out, but the fans in Wrigley gave him a standing ovation. Now, that was pretty special.
It's unheard of.
From a
we
Cardinals.
know that's historic.
Yeah, that was historic in and of itself, because as a Cardinals fan, we have a love-hate relationship with the Cubs. They're lovable, but they're hateable because they're our arch rival. But when you think about what Josh Baez did in his first 3 at-bats, he hit 3 home runs in his first 3 at-bats in the major leagues. The next day, he went 0 for 5. Okay? So when I look at an annuity, it isn't about home runs, and it's not about going over. Okay? What it is slow and steady is this piece of your portfolio. We want you to earn slowly as the market goes up. You're not going to get all the market upsides. You're not going to hit a home run in here.
Yeah.
But as the market goes down, you're not going to strike out either. Most of these have 0 fees in them as well.
But here's the thing. Not all annuities are one size fits all, and they're not all created equal. So they might be the right fit in your portfolio. They might not be the right fit in your portfolio. And maybe you have one right now and it's not doing what you thought it would be doing for you. We can come in and take a look at that too and help you kind of decipher, what is it doing for you? Is it working towards the strategy that you wanted to implement with it or that you thought it would be doing for you? Because sometimes it's really tough to even read these statements and see what on earth you're even invested in. So let's break it down. Give us a buzz at 314-207-6211. But like everything else in retirement planning, annuities are not one size fits all. Retirement plans are not one size fits all. You need to ensure that you have the correct strategy and the right plan for you. What else could you use that may or may not benefit you in your retirement plan? A lot of times people are only focused on their funds that are in those traditional IRAs or your Roth IRAs. What about the money that you have outside of that? Right now, if you have a lot of money in non-qualified accounts, whether it be in a trust account, a joint account, a single-owned brokerage account, if that's invested in the stock market, it could be throwing off interest and dividends for you or capital gains. And
what do those 3 things cause? Taxation.
They all cause taxation, of course. So here's the deal. Ordinary income rates, so that interest and dividends, those could be higher than your capital gains rates. Well, what if you have a really large capital gain that you haven't sold yet, but you bought Apple stock in 1999 or in 2002
right.
after we had a little crash, and it's appreciated a lot. And you have this huge, huge tax bomb there too. Not everyone focuses on that. We're all so hyper-focused on my pre-tax money is going to cause me taxation in retirement. We want to ensure that your money that's exposed to taxation, not in your retirement funds, is also going to be as tax efficient as possible to you in your retirement strategy. What can you implement if you have a large gain like that? Well, we can utilize something called direct indexing and tax loss harvesting. And if you implement that in your strategy, it could potentially save you quite a bit of money when it comes to your taxation as well. But the thing is, if you don't know what you don't know, how are you supposed to know where to begin? And if we meet someone who has, maybe they were gifted stock from a parent or an aunt or something like that, and they have a large growth in that, or they purchased the stock themselves years ago and they have a large growth here, a lot of times you don't think there's anything you can do to kind of dismantle that growth and spread out your risk. Because if you have large growth in 1 or 2 stocks, what if that company goes south and so much of your portfolio is placed at risk in one stock? You're not doing yourself any of a service if you have that much exposed to a risk in 1 individual holding, 2 individual holdings, just a couple individual holdings. When you're in your retirement years, you need to spread out that risk. And the only way to do so is piece by piece, a little at a time. So if you can help implement a direct indexing strategy and a tax loss harvesting strategy into that piece of your retirement, you're going to be so much better ahead in the end. But here's the deal. We never believe that anyone should have to do that on your own, because it would be a full-time job to sit at your computer and figure out exactly intraday where your holdings are. Who wants to do that in retirement? If you do, then you're probably not the right fit for us, because you're DIYing everything and you are not going to be changing that strategy in retirement. But if you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor and you don't want to sit behind a computer screen all day, every day, hyper-focusing and managing your own funds, come and see us and let's put it all together, because there are so many different nuances and so many different tiny little holdings and investment strategies and tax strategies that could help benefit you in your financial future that you may not even be aware of. But you're not going to know that until we put the plan together for what are you doing right now? And is that the best strategy for you moving forward? That's exactly what we do all day, every day when we walk you through the purpose approach, is we take a look at where are you now and where do you want to be? And are you there? Because if you are, we're going to give you a hug and send you on your way, because there's nothing we can do to help implement a better strategy for your future. But if there's something we can do to help implement a nice strategy that is going to walk you to and through retirement, that's what we do all day, every day. It begins with a conversation at 314-207-6211.
So when you do come in, just know that you are going to have an individualized plan specifically for you. It's just like your fingerprint. You're different than everyone else. Your tax return is different than everyone else. Your investment objectives are different from everyone else. The way you spend money is different from everyone else. So your plan will be different for each person. It's going to be customized and tailored to you. And all you need to do is start with a conversation at 314-207-6211. And Heidi just said, if we're not the right fit, we're going to give you a hug. When we see you at Schnucks or Deerbergs, we're going to give you a hug and say, hey, how you been? So we just love meeting with people and seeing if we can be of service.
That's right. And you will see them out and about in the community, because Heidi, Ricken, Provost, Gerry, Ricken, they live here, they work here, they play here. They are proud to support St. Louis and the surrounding area. 314-207-6211. And the voices you hear, those are the individuals that you will meet. You will shake their hand. They will start customizing a plan built just for you at Ricken Financial. RickenFinancial.com or 314-207-6211. Well, Heidi, Ricken, Provost, Gerry, Ricken, thank you. Thank you for the education and the information this weekend. We are back next weekend, but before we get out of here, take us home.
Every day is a holiday.
Life is short. Laugh hard.
This has been Kickin' with the Rickens, redefining retirement.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Ricken Financial LLC. Ricken Financial LLC is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Ricken Financial LLC are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Ricken Financial LLC is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Ricken Financial LLC.
Please remember that converting an employer plan account to a Roth IRA is a taxable event. Increased taxable income from the Roth IRA conversion may have several consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA.
Tax preparation and tax advisory services are offered through Ricken Financial. These services are not offered by IPW and are not subject to investment advisor requirements. These services referenced are an outside business activity not offered through or supervised by IPW.